mu jëlaat Allahu.
The holder of inner vision is in a mystical state, a spiritual condition that allows him to question Ruhul Qudus, whose appearance symbolizes the term kaf, about the true nature of his being. As he contemplates, Ruhul Qudus urges him to reveal the divine name he holds, which is Allah. The one who possesses inner vision and is immersed in the divine realm then extends the supreme name that he carries within. This name manifests as light, fixed in his right hand. When he unfolds it, the supreme being, whom he perceives in his contemplation, draws this name through the force of his spiritual power. The divine name Allah, in response to this call, surges forth and enters the being in whom the mountains have been integrated into his essence. Once it arrives within him, this name manifests by emanating from his chest, tracing the words, Allahu huwal haq, wal haq huwallah. In other words, the Ismu Zati, which the Supreme Being has drawn and integrated into him and which has settled in his chest, is transfigured into a new expression, Allahu huwal haq, wal haq huwallah. The possessor of inner vision contemplates it face to face. As his gaze fixes upon it, he observes it in its posture. Then, as the writing emerges and sparkles from his chest, the being, in the exercise of his spiritual power, appropriates what has been inscribed there. Allahu huwal haq, wal haq huwal la. With the gesture imbued with sovereignty, he divides the expression at its center before holding it in his hands. The holder of inner vision continues his observation with acuity, penetrating the mystery unfolding before his eyes. The being then extends the inscription once more in his hand, and immediately the letters metamorphose, engraving a new formulation, Nasiril Haki Bil Haki. Thus, the enigma that the possessor of inner vision strives to interpret is revealed. Did the expression Allahu huwal haq wal haq huwallah give rise to Nasiril Haq Bil Haq, or is it the other way around? This falls within the framework of Marifa, spiritual knowledge, as it is a matter of deeply esoteric significance. Indeed, the possessor of inner vision remains in a mystical state, but Allah has granted him a system that allows him to draw from the resources of light contained within his soul to establish a connection with the divine reality while remaining anchored in the divine realm. Thus, he establishes this connection and perceives a fawudat, spiritual effusion, emanating from the divine reality, specifically from the space where the mountain enveloped by Ruhul Qudus resides within his being, symbolized by the letter Kaf. It is from this place that the fawudat manifests. Immediately after the possessor of inner vision has fully immersed himself in the divine reality, the fawudat takes flight and he perceives its vibration, a transcendent effusion of light that travels to penetrate his soul. At that moment, he distinctly hears this fawudat pronounce a divine name he had never perceived in this reality before being introduced to it. This fawudat, composed exclusively of light and taking the form of a resplendent lance, proclaims with majesty, Ya Shafi. When he hears this powerfully striking divine name, he questions within himself and declares, I use the name Allah, and it is this being, Ruhul Qudus, who took it from me before inscribing on his chest, Allahu huwal haq wal haq huwallah. Then, when he extended his hand again, I saw another writing appear, Nasiril Haq Bil Haq. I then sought to connect to grasp its meaning in the realm of Marifa, and it was at that moment that a name was revealed to me through this fawudat chanting, Ya Shafi. Faced with this succession of mystical events, he questions himself with increasing intensity. What is happening? At the very moment he formulates this question to interpret the revelation, he perceives a phenomenon of unparalleled depth. The being he was contemplating in his inner vision begins to metamorphose once more, manifesting a new state of his transcendent reality. The mountain of pearls once generated by the being begins to gradually dissipate. First, the one on the right dissolves, followed by the one on the left, undergoing the same process of erasure. Then, he observes another phenomenon. The writings, such as the kaf and other symbols, also begin to transform. Each one changes before his eyes, revealing a subtle and elusive dynamic. Just as he thinks this metamorphosis is complete, a new vision seizes him. He sees again what he had launched at the very beginning, at the precise moment he was commanded to extend his hand to project it. What he had launched resurfaces, and simultaneously, everything at the center unites to inscribe a single word, radiant with light and majesty. Allahu. Now his gaze no longer discerns any familiar form. He perceives no anthropomorphic presence, no jamadat, inanimate objects, no mountain, no Quranic writing, no ayat. Everything he had seen before has faded, and only one manifest reality remains. What he had seen in this realm, now transfigured into Allah, is precisely what he had held in his hand earlier. Faced with this revelation of unfathomable depth, the possessor of inner vision kneels at the heart of this divine realm. He then asks, "By this supreme name, I implore that the synthesis communicate to me the meaning of what I have just experienced." He proclaimed this, completing it with a prostration. However, absolute silence envelops him. No response comes. He repeats it again with increased intensity. The one who holds inner vision, immersed in the divine realm, expresses himself thus: "From my beginning, I initiated this journey with this name, Ismu Zati Allah. I carried it here, traversing each stage, witnessing all the transformations and metaphors unveiled to me. I delved into the depths of infused knowledge so that it might enlighten me, and it indeed helped me. However, certain realities were interpreted for me through Marifa, revealing a meaning I had not yet grasped. Everything I had previously contemplated and described, the mystical seas, the Quranic words, the symbolic letters, the postures of this being, the names I heard for the first time, Janibul Kaun, as well as that of Seydi Ahmed, peace and blessings upon him, and his posture, all of this manifested before me in the language of signs and revelations. And yet, despite the immensity of these visions and the diversity of these manifestations, only one reality remains. A single term stands before me with brilliance and majesty: Allah. He prostrates once more, imploring that the interpretation of what he has just experienced be revealed to him. It is then that a deep, resonant voice echoes within him, addressing him with these profound words: Al-Khalq, kulluhum mazairullah. He instantly understands what he sees. By taking the name Allah to meditate on the Lord, he realizes that all these manifestations he perceived were in reality a manifestation of God. Through the contemplation of the Caliph of Allah he was observing. At that precise moment, he tells himself that his inner vision is now complete. He thinks he can focus on another aspect, but the voice resonates again within the mystery, for the mystery is nothing but a manifest presence of the entity Allah. He perceives this voice originating simultaneously from within the Alif, the Lam, and the Ha. However, he cannot precisely identify who is speaking. He only hears the voice without form or contour. The voice then addresses him with these words. If we decipher for you the term Al-Kal Kulluhum Mazahirullah, we will bring you to experience what you have truly lived. What had I truly experienced? It replies. The voice responds again with infinite clarity. You have experienced the reality of Nasir al-Haq bil-Haq Shifayatullahi. Allahu Akbar. Listen carefully to what has been revealed to him. You have lived the reality of Nasir al-Haq bil-Haq Shifayatullahi. Through this, the ultimate purpose of the name Allah has been unveiled to him in all its splendor. At the moment the possessor of inner vision hears these words, he sinks once more into a deep mystical state. He wonders, amazed and perplexed. All that I have experienced while contemplating these mysteries has brought me to this stage. I must then continue my journey on this path of contemplation. I do not intend to limit myself here. Thus, he contemplates Allah once more, opening his inner vision again to engage anew in the mystery.